Am I audible and visible to everyone?
Yes.
Great. On one summer morning in 2016, I found myself in front of the ticketing counter of JRS Fantasy Park, and my friends were buying the tickets for the water park. I was getting a little tired because I didn't have my breakfast for some reason, and I saw a bright pink chair in the corner. I went ahead and took a seat in that chair as I waited for my friends to get the tickets. When they arrived and when I tried to get up, unfortunately, the chair got up with me, and my friends had to physically separate me from the chair. And the reason that happened is because on the bright pink chair, there was a collection of bright pink chewing gum. Now, for your context, let me tell you that I was in my school uniform and I studied in Delhi Public School, Mysore, which had a full white uniform. And the reason why I was there in my uniform in front of GRS Fantasy Park is because I was going to give a speech at a water park. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. As you can imagine, a white pant and pink chewing gum. I started to look like half of a baboon, in the sense that you might already can imagine. And my friends did try to scrape it off, but all they did is spread it much farther away from the from the place where it had been caught. What happened after this is that GRE Fantasy Park had organized a speech contest for interschool. So what happened is schools from all around Mysore gathered in JRS Fantasy Park to give a speech. Now you might be thinking, is he going to give a speech in the middle of the swimming pool and speak about the geopolitical aspects of the world? Well, you're not far from it. Fortunately, they have these designated places where we could go and give a speech. The first round was a preliminary round with 60 people in the room, 60 contestants, and two judges. But for some reason, nervousness was eating me away. My hands and knees were shivering throughout as I saw the contestants deliver spectacular speeches throughout the preliminary round until my eyes caught on to one contestant who spoke brilliantly. I was inspired by that speaker. So when it was my turn to go and speak on the stage with my knees and hands shivering, this contestant looked at me and gave me a very inspiring smile. For some reason, it felt like I was borrowing confidence from the speaker, and I spoke and spoke and spoke until I qualified to the next round. Unfortunately, this source of inspiration, this contestant, did not qualify, as matter of a fact. As the day went on, I had completely forgotten that my compromising situation with my pant was actually putting me in a very vulnerable situation. Thankfully, I had my bag, which I'd elongated long enough to hide my vulnerable situation, as one might expect, because I was representing this. It was now time for the lunch break, but for some reason, the organizer said, "You cannot carry your bags inside the dining room." Now I was afraid, but thankfully I had my great friends. All of them decided to form a circle around me while I was having my lunch. But these great friends decided that it would be hilarious to betray me and open the circle while I was having a gulab jamun. I found myself in a very compromising situation, but somehow I got through the dining room. I had wonderful lunch, almost forgot about my compromising situation. After this, we got to know the rules of the final round, where they said that we'll be given a current affair and we will have to come up with a speech on the spot, somewhat like a table topics. But it would be a speech that would be 10 minutes long. What happened next is that I was trying to find another source of confidence, of infamy, of inspiration in the room. But all I could get was that I don't know what to speak about. And for some reason, again, the organizers decided to keep our bags outside, completely leaving me vulnerable with my baboon appearance. As I walked up to the stage, I could hear laughs and giggles throughout. I had no idea what I was going to speak, but I had some hope that I would find inspiration somewhere or the other. As I got onto the stage and faced the music, or as I can say, the laughter, there were 12 judges and 5,000 people. What, as one might expect, it was a fantasy park. Now, as someone who's in his eighth grade and I was in a very compromising situation, this speech went horribly wrong. I was speaking gibberish throughout, and all I could muster up to say was completely random words that made no sense. The reason behind this is because I was trying to find that one contestant in the group or in the audience that had initially given me the confidence. But all I did was make a fool of myself because I could not find them in the crowd of 5,000 people. After this, I had learned three very important lessons. Lesson number one: if you're going to sit on a random chair wearing white clothes, please check the chair. Lesson number two: please find better friends who would not betray you for a couple of laughs. And most importantly, lesson number three: you can try your best to find confidence somewhere else, but it will not always work unless you find confidence from within. This story is very dear to me solely because from that day onwards, I have cultivated the confidence from within. So even if I'm sitting in front of you with a white t-shirt and a fever of 100-degree Fahrenheit, I can say that I can speak in front of you solely because I have the confidence from within. Where do you find your confidence, Toastmaster of the day?